Well, it seems that we got cut off with the last video. I was showing you all, I think, Stars by Simply Red. I have to get used to doing these long videos again. I still don't know how to edit, so hopefully this new year, that's something else I need to learn how to do, how to make professional, cleaned up YouTube videos without all this stopping and starting. This is so 2011. But anyway, so I showed you all Stars, Simply Red, one of my favorite tracks from the 90s. Here is Erasures, Who Needs Love Like That, of course, Vince Clarke, Andy Bell. I can't remember which album this came from, but yeah, this was one of my favorite tracks by Erasure. Then we have a later song by Talking Heads. This is Lifetime Piling Up. I would love to find the single of two of their other later songs, Nothing But Flowers from 1990 and 1991, and Blind. But anyway, this is Lifetime Piling Up, and this was featured in the Sand and the Vaseline compilation that came out in the mid-90s. The B-side is, I don't know if you can see that, Road to Nowhere, which I have the original 7-inch of this, but I was surprised that they put it on the B-side of Lifetime Piling Up, but whatever. But this was one of my favorite tracks from Talking Heads. I'm a huge Talking Heads fan. If you remember, I showed you stuff from them in the past. Then this is the last one I received from the person I buy from in the UK. This is Mr. Big, To Be With You. You know, one of my favorite power pop type ballads of that era. Look at the hair, the clothes. This is pre Nirvana and Pearl Jam and all the so-called grunge era. I call it the second coming of post-punk. I didn't ever really consider those bands as being grunge, but whatever. But when they came out, bands that look like this kind of ceased to exist. But this was one of my favorite songs from this era. I think their album was called Lean Into It. And this was their only hit, if I can remember. And yeah, I used to love it. Mr. Big, To Be With You. Now, this is something that I didn't get from the seller in London. I got this from another seller on eBay. This is from 2004. This is Modest Mouse. This is called Float On. I think this was probably their first hit. You know, I don't think it was their first album. I think they released an EP before they released Good News for People Who Love Bad News. But this is the song, the single is from that album, and it's called Float On. And this is Modest Mouse. And this is not an import, but it looks like the imports with the hole in the middle where you don't need the adapter to play it on the record player, the 7-inch. So I had said that I didn't buy anything here in North Carolina yet. That was untrue. I did go into the Goodwill a few months ago, and I did find a 7-inch. And nothing spectacular, but I did like the song, and I love the album, and I love Peter Gabriel. This is Big Time from Peter Gabriel. This is from, of course, the Blockbuster Soul album. And this is an American pressing. It doesn't have the adapter, the hole in the middle. It has a hole in the middle, but this is the American style 7-inch. So anyway, this was very good. I listened to it. It's in good condition. And Peter Gabriel's Big Time. So as I stated, I didn't bring that many LPs with me. Unfortunately, because you know, I don't know what I was thinking. I brought so many new things. It was just for anyone who's ever had to move. You know, it's a very, 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 very tedious process. And sometimes you think you're doing the right thing, but then you realize you're not. So I didn't, like I said, I didn't bring a lot of my 12 inches, but I did bring the Prince and Michael Jackson collection with, well, not all of the things that I have from them, but a great deal of it. I just said I wanted to preserve it because a lot of the Prince stuff I had actually got the week before he died. I remember having a conversation with the man that I buy stuff from in London. I was saying, well, I think I might need to really get on board with buying, you know, all the Prince stuff that I can, because if something happens to him, then, you know, the prices are going to be jacked up like they did after he died. And the seller was like, oh, don't worry about it, he's not a drinker, he doesn't smoke fags, you know, cigarettes, you know, that's how the London people talk, that's what they call their cigarettes. He doesn't smoke fags, he's a vegan, he'll probably outlive all of us. A couple of weeks later, he passed on. So I am very grateful that I did get what I got from him. I, of course, have been buying stuff by Prince for years, but there were still a lot of things that I wanted to get, and there still are a lot of things I want to get, but now that he's dead, these prices are ridiculous. I mean, people are just price gouging for no goddamn reason. Nonetheless, I'm going to show you what I did get. So, first things first. So I tell you guys that I don't like picture discs, but I always manage to have some picture discs. This is New Power Generation. New Power Generation. I don't know, I can't speak today. And this is a picture disc for his single New Power Generation. And this was featured on the Graffiti Bridge album, which I'm going to show you next. But this is just a picture disc for that. And the B-side is New Power Generation Part 2. There are 2 parts to it. And Melody Cool, which is a song Prince wrote for Mavis Staples, who was also in the Graffiti Bridge movie. And she did that song, Melody Cool. She performed it in the movie. The movie was lackluster, but yeah. It was something to watch for that time. But anyway, I've always loved the song New Power Generation, and like I said, this is the picture disc for that, and then the back here is just the background for it. I'll show you all. So here's the back. Prince and the New Power Generation, and the song is called New Power Generation, and this is the picture disc, and this is just, you know, they had this background on the Graffiti Bridge album. And here is just a picture of the police. I thought it was a nice portrait that I tore out of a Rolling Stones magazine that I owned before I moved and discarded the magazine. I just wanted this picture because it's so nice. I would love to put it in a frame. So right now it's just sharing a plastic with Prince. And on the back is Frank Zappa, which is really cool too. I'm not really a Frank Zappa fan. You know, I'm more of a Police fan, but nonetheless, it's really cool. All right, so that's the first thing that I got. One of the first things I bought for Prince the week or 2 before he died, which is uncanny in itself. No one saw that coming. Next this is the actual Graffiti Bridge. Why can I not say Graffiti Bridge? This is the actual Graffiti Bridge album right here. Ingrid Chavez, she was in the film. She played Prince's love interest, if you've never seen the film. I believe that she was married from one of my favorite bands of the new wave, new romantic era, Japan. I think she was married. I think this lady here, Ingrid Chavez, was married to David Sylvian. Either she was or she still is, but I almost read, I'm almost certain that she was married to David Sylvian. Okay, in the back, of course, we have Mr. Morris Day. And unlike Purple Rain, during that era, Prince and the Revolution had Purple Rain. Morris Day had Ice Cream Castles, which Jungle Love and The Bird, those were songs that were featured in Purple Rain. And they had their own album. And Apollonia, she had her own album. But this one, Prince was a little bit more, I guess, eclectic, because he had all the people that were in the film: George Clinton, Mavis Staples, New Power Generation, The Time. Everyone had a track. Tevin Campbell, during that time he was a young boy, child prodigy singer. He had a song here that Prince wrote. He was also featured in the film. But they just had all the tracks on one album as opposed to everyone having separate albums. So the film nor this album was as successful as Purple Rain, but you can't really top the top, can you? So next is I think this is a French. Yeah, this was made in, this was pressed in, no, I'm sorry. I think it was pressed in Germany, of Little Red Corvette and Lady Cab Driver. I didn't buy this. It's a maxi single. And of course, both of these songs were featured on the 1999 album. I didn't buy it for Little Red Corvette. I love that song, but I bought it for Lady Cab Driver. I've always loved Lady Cab Driver. That's one of my favorite tracks by Prince, and it's from the 1999 album. Then I have another single. I think this was an American pressing. I bought it from my seller in the UK, so it might be a UK pressing. I think I read it. Oh, yeah, I think it's a UK pressing. And this is When Doves Cry. I didn't buy it for that. Like I said, it's one of my favorite songs. I love When Doves Cry, but I didn't purchase it for that. As usual, I purchased it for the B-side, which is 17 Days. I didn't have 17 Days on the 12-inch. I had to have it. I have it on the 7-inch, but and I have it on CD, of course, but I've never had it on the 12-inch. So I bought that, and I bought this one. Like, I think I bought this particular single in 2014. So, you know, it's like 2 years before he passed. But I really wanted 17 Days on a 12-inch. I do own a copy. I own a couple of copies of Sign of the Times, but this had the cute turquoise heart-shaped hype sticker. So that's the reason why I purchased this. And this is the UK version of Sign of the Times, the double LP blockbuster album from 1987. And it's also in the original shrink wrap. I purchased this one, I think the year before Prince passed. I think I purchased this in the summer of 2015 from my local record store in Brooklyn, Academy Records. And I actually got this for free. It's not in the best condition. Look at all the wear and tear here. But this is Controversy. This is the 12-inch version for Controversy. And the B-side is When You're Mine, which was one of the tracks from his Dirty Mind album, which is the album that came right before Controversy. Okay, so this is Prince, Controversy. I've always loved that song, always loved that album. It's probably one of my favorite Prince albums. This is one of the ones I purchased from him a week or so before he died. This is Cream from his Diamonds and Pearls album. This is the 12-inch version of Cream. And the B-side is Gangsta Glam. And that is the B-side. And this is Cream. Now look at this. This man was insane. I miss him though. I really do. I never met him a day in my life, but he was such a character. But anyway, I digress. So we also have a couple more things by Prince. I'm sorry, I got so much crap on this table. This is also Prince in the New Power Generation. This is like not a promo. This is a UK version of, it's like a maxi single. They have a few tracks on here. They have Get Off. NPG, they have TC's Rap, which is featured on the Graffiti Bridge soundtrack. There's also a song called Lubricated Lady. That's Prince for you. So this is a sort of like an EP, a maxi single. And here's the back. That was the name of the club he owned in Graffiti Bridge, Glam Slam. Okay, and this is Mountains from Parade. This was the album that coincided with his second film, Under the Cherry Moon. This is from that album. This is Prince and the Revolution, Mountains. And this was featured, this was the last song as the credits were rolling in the movie Under the Cherry Moon after Prince had died. And in the back, this pretty lady here, Lisa Coleman. And the B-side is Alexa de Paris. Then we have, this is sort of like a interview disc, but it's also on another picture disc. This is really cool in a way because the picture disc looks just like the album. It says Prince Interview 86. Here's a really cool shot of him in the back here. And this is the actual disc with all the armpit hair and everything. And this is the disc. So yeah, just some little interview disc, you know. It's just I bought it more so as a collectible, you know, not so much to play, but I'm happy that I did. I was debating if I should buy it before I bid on it, but like I said, being that he passed away a couple of weeks later, I'm very happy that I did. So this is not Prince related. This is actually a Michael Jackson LP that I got from another honey hole that was based in New York. And you know, he has some great stuff from time to time. But this is actually a dual LP EP of remixes of Michael Jackson songs. He had remixes by Frankie Knuckles, a very popular Chicago DJ. Who else did he have? He have acapella versions of They Don't Care About Us and Rock With You and Earth Song This Time Around, which was a song he did with the Notorious B.I.G. for his History CD that was released in '96. So it was a nice buy. It was a great buy, actually, of great remixes for They Don't Care About Us and, like I said, Rock With You and some of his other hits that were remixed by well-known and beloved DJs. This is not Prince or Michael Jackson related. This is something I found in my closet when we were about to move that I didn't even know existed. This belonged to my stepfather. This is the Fatback Band. And the name of this is called Keep On Stepping. The reason why I kept it, besides the fact that I wanted to listen to it, it looks interesting. I like the artwork and the little girl. I mean, she looks like just about every African-American little girl in the inner city, including myself, that I've ever known. And that's the reason why I really love the artwork on this album. And here's a group picture of the band. This is the Fatback Band, Keep On Steppin'. And last but not least, as far as albums are concerned, so like I said, I mentioned before about Holy Grail albums. This is one that I have been wanting for some time. And I was finally able to get a copy of it, and I didn't pay that much for it. I was kind of disappointed because I thought I was thorough with my research, but I realized that sometimes you really have to go the extra mile when you're looking for stuff, because sometimes things are released at a certain time, but then the what do you call that? The labels change. So my camera's about to shut off. I'm not going to get into it too much. This is one of the highly coveted albums that I wanted. This is The Wailers, Catch a Fire. This looks like the Zippo lighter. Isn't that the coolest thing you've ever seen? This is one that I've been wanting for some time. The problem is that's not the very, very first copy that came out, because the other label had a pink rim and it was the original Island label. It wasn't this one. This came out like a year later. So this is actually like the second pressing that came out the same year as the first one, but I wish I had the other label, but I'll get that eventually. But I'm just so happy that this looks the way it looks. And it says 1973 Island Records when this record was released, and it was printed in England. So guys, my camera is about to run out, so I'm gonna go ahead on and close this out. Thanks again for sticking around. Sorry these videos are so long. I will be back to speak to you soon.